Namaste. I believe that we are on this plane because we are here to evolve. And a sure sign of not evolving is that you feel stuck where you are. Now, it's very clear and obvious that everything in the universe is energy, and energy always moves. So, why is it that you are feeling stuck? The reason why I do what I do is because I truly believe that when we are stuck, it's not just costing us, but it's affecting everybody in our lives who are meant to be impacted. I'll talk a bit about myself so that you get an idea of whom you're about to talk to. I was born in the slums of Mumbai, in the very lowest rungs of Mumbai. For the first 15 years of my life, I grew there. And my grandfather, my mother's father, passed on at the age of 49 because of liver cirrhosis due to alcohol addiction. I never got to see him because he passed away before my mother got married to my father. As a result of his addiction, he was reduced from a fairly wealthy businessman to someone who had to live in the slums with his wife, his two sons, and his daughter, my mother. Both of his sons eventually became addicts, my maternal uncles, and didn't do too well in their lives. A lot of disappointment, a lot of breaking of the family occurred, a lot of losses and decisions that were not good for them or their kids happened. My father himself had been a smoker for the longest time. He's just quit in the last few years because of his issues with cholesterol. And so I understand addiction, having seen it very closely in my family. And let me talk about myself. I have been addicted for more than 20 years of my life to behaviors, not so much with substance, but I was addicted to substance like cannabis for 5 years and also alcohol. And in those years, when I was stuck in my own loop for 20 years, I never realized the amount of impact that the world was not having because I was lost. In the last 5 years of my journey, since I have gone on to a spiritual quest of evolving and growing and serving others, people have come back and shared their stories saying, man, just meeting you has been such a pivotal shift in my life. And they tell me all these things, and I wonder, these guys have no idea how deeply I was lost. And if I had remained lost, what would have happened to them? Who would have served them to come back on the track of evolution? The reason I share this is because right now, if you're stuck, I want you to know that there are people and there are places where only you can make an impact because it was meant for you. Like, no one else is going to go and do that part if you don't wake up and take charge. So there's a lot at stake, and not just cigarettes and addiction to smoking here. And this is why I use the tools that I have learned and developed and been on the journey of mastering for the last 5 years. I use conversational hypnotherapy, I use alchemy coaching, and I use something called as presence, which has developed out of my practice of deeper meditation of Kriya Yoga. What we are doing here is not just getting rid of smoking, because you must understand that smoking itself is just a cover, it's a painkiller. And what's the role of a painkiller? It's meant to numb you down so that you can forget for a little while that you have the pain. But we must ask a question: why does pain exist in human beings? We are intelligent species after all. And pain exists in the world because the pain's function is to draw our attention to what the real problem could be. It's the way the body communicates with us. And why is attention so important? Because attention, which is your awareness, is everything. It's literally what the stuff we are sitting in is made up of. The entire universe is made up of our attention. So that's what solves things. But when we kill the pain, which is meant to draw our attention, with numbing activities, which could be anything from scrolling on social media mindlessly to smoking, doing drugs, watching pornography, etc., 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 we do not channel our attention in the directions that the body is really calling us for. And so, because of this, we suffer. What we do in conversational hypnotherapy is try to understand what the body has been trying to communicate by creating those weird feelings which you want to avoid. And we do that in a safe, non-judgmental space. I become the mirror for you, so you can see clearly the parts of you that you cannot see. That's exactly why we see the mirror. Why do we use a mirror which reflects back our own image to us? Because we can't see that image for ourselves with our naked eyes. You can't see your face without the mirror. You can't see the back of your head without the mirror. And same is the case, just like with your body, for your emotional as well as psychological as well as spiritual self. You can see certain parts of yourself, but you cannot see every part of who you are until it is reflected back at you clearly by someone who is not judging you, someone who is holding you safe. This is something that families and friends are oftentimes unable to do, not because they are bad people, but because they are invested in that relationship with you and because you are invested in that relationship with them at a personal level, which is why I do not work with friends and families when it comes to therapy. When you get the true reflection, you don't need too much motivation or advice or suggestion because you can see your reflection. What that means for you is you are able to see the things, the algorithms that are running your choices in the background, why you do the things you do. You often ask yourself questions like, why am I the way I am? And then you will see it very clearly what is running you. And that is enough to make that shift. And what that shift is you change the track of life completely. You're not walking unconsciously anymore, but we have conscious choices then. And when that happens, it's not just smoking that leaves you. It means you are now evolving again. You're not stuck again, which means it impacts your career. It impacts your life's purpose, your physical, mental, emotional aspects, your relationships, your sleep, your connection with people, how you bond with them. Everything gets impacted. And as a result of that, smoking also leaves you. So how do I do this? I do this by choosing to work with each of my clients one-to-one. I do not have people working on my behalf. I don't give courses that you have to watch all by yourself. And I do not give you a set number of sessions. What I offer you is to work with you personally till you get your results. And these are one-to-one personalized sessions because the reason why you are avoiding your pain is completely unique to why certain John, Peter, or Joanna would be avoiding their pain. We are all unique and different. And I do this by offering you sessions that do not have any timer in them, which means in a typical hypnotherapist session, you'll have 60 minutes. When you're working with me, we don't keep a clock. We keep going as long as you need to go, as deep as you need to go to find out what is beneath the stuff that you're avoiding and why you're avoiding it. And we do that by compassionate inquiry, by really going deep into it. So the second thing is that we don't count the number of sessions when you're working with me. Sometimes my clients get the results in the one session that we do, sometimes two, sometimes three. It all depends on each person, but I don't count the sessions. What I really focus on is to make sure that you and I get to the results together. And which is why my clients get the results they get. And obviously, this also means that I cannot work with everybody. It's a huge commitment to take on, to say that I'm going to work with you till you get your results. And you understand that, which is why you're going to come into the consultation with me. Here's where I'll assess if you and I can actually work together, if you really have that intention to go beyond yourself and recognize that this is not just about smoking, but much bigger, much deeper than this. And so if you're ready to do this, I invite you to our consultation. I look forward to our chat together and see what exactly is beneath the layer for you. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best and see you soon. Namaste.